Yo, big dub, my boys. Yet again, Hansi Flick ball came out and absolutely slammed it. Made for a very exciting first 45 minutes. A less exciting final 45 minutes. But hey, that was a good game. 3-0 victory. Lewandowski hat trick. Brace of assists for Rafinha. And an exciting performance from a couple other guys that I think it's going to be pretty interesting to get into and that I was excited to see. I'm going to start off differently than I normally do with a 10 out of 10 for Robert Lewandowski. Someone commented on my last video, do you ever give out 10s? And I did today because Lewandowski deserved it. Not only did he score a hat trick, but he linked up incredibly well. Probably could have had one or two more goals as well and was just very exciting to watch. I don't know if there's something in the air in Barcelona or in wherever Alavés is, but man, it was exciting to see from these guys and to see them creating and having fun and just dominating Alavés, at least for about 60 minutes. It got a little hairy at the end, or they conceded some chances, but I'm not concerned with the back line as much as I have had been in past games, and it's been exciting. I'm actually seeing a stat right now that Barcelona have 40 or like 35 more offsides drawn in La Liga than any other team in the league right now, which is very substantial considering they only have 60 or they have 61. So they have more than double any other team in the league of drawing their opponents offsides. And I don't know, that's important. That's the way Hansi wants to play with this very high line, and it's working against teams that are better at exploiting it, like Madrid might be. It'll be interesting. But let's get into the rankings for this game to see how they did, besides Robert Lewandowski. Iñaki Peña, I thought he was good. He made a couple good saves when he needed to, and the one ideal or less than ideal back pass from Ansu Fati wasn't his best work there, but Iñaki Peña handled it. He also came out of his goal or off his line a lot, outside of the box to make clearances. Was it the most fantastic thing I've ever seen all the time? No, I was concerned most of it, but it worked out. He figured it out, and he didn't concede a goal, even though there were, I think, 2 or 3 disallowed goals from Alavés. But realistically, it wasn't, like, terrible. I don't think he was clearly poor, and so I'm going to give him a 7.5 because he did his job today. He didn't concede, technically speaking, and so moving on. Right? Clean sheet's a clean sheet, no matter how it looks. Now for Hector Ford, I think he has an ability that some of these other guys in the back line don't have, where he has the ability to track back pretty well. And so I think a 7.5. Nothing stellar from him today, but a pretty solid performance. I might be missing something for some of these guys. Call me out if I am. I'm not perfect. That's what happens. But hey, good performance from all of these guys at the back line. I'm going to say 7.5 for all of them, with probably an 8 for Inigo. And Inigo was just really good with his feet. He was good defensively and did what he needed to do at pretty much all times, but he was fantastic with his feet, which is really something that makes this team excel, because we need to be able to pick these guys out on long balls. We need to be able to send them in behind, and Inigo is one of the guys who can do that. Kubarsi can do it. I think Inigo has been better at it so far this season, or at least he was in this game. He was that good. And honestly, it's a unique thing because it's not something we saw from him last season, and no one else in this side can replicate besides Kubarsi. And it's a cool dynamic to see from him. I hope he keeps it up. And obviously, it's an ability that he's had in his repertoire for a long time, but we didn't see from him last season, probably because he didn't get a lot of playing time. It's going to be interesting. I was seeing a little conversation between a few guys on Twitter about it, where Inigo is excelling under Hansi Flick because these skills that he has are going to be very important for this side. But when Araujo comes in, it's going to be an interesting situation because Araujo cannot pick guys out with long balls. That way is not that good with his feet, but he can be a lot better than anyone else, maybe in world football, playing that high line and defending there and on corners and crosses too. He can get a header, get a ball out better than anybody else because he's 2 or 3 inches taller than anyone else in this team. So it's going to be an interesting dynamic having those guys, or to see how Araujo plays versus Inigo Martinez. It's going to be interesting to see. Nonetheless, Inigo had a good game today. Balde too. I think he was solid. I think he won the ball back at times. I think he linked up pretty well when he needed to. 7.5. Not a fantastic performance from him. Not like the ideal that we want to see from him yet, where he's putting in crazy crosses and defending and moving all over the pitch and perfect. Not perfect. Not terrible. Solid performance. Then we get to Marc Casado and Eric Garcia, and I'm putting Eric Garcia here because he didn't start, but Ferran Torres went out with a hamstring pull within like 30 seconds of the game starting, and Eric Garcia came into the midfield, pushing Pedri up to that cam position, that Dani Olmo position, so to say. And Eric Garcia did his job. 7.5. I think he was where he needed to be, won a couple balls that were really necessary, made a couple blocks there right at the the second 45 minutes where it got a little more hairy, did his job very well. I'm not upset at him in any way, and I usually am, so I got to recognize when I'm not. Casado, though, I thought he was fantastic. I'm like one of the biggest supporters of this kid. His ability on the ball, putting balls in behind, his energy off of it, and his quality with a pass is really exciting to see. And I don't know, I just love that he is such an important part of this team, and that we get to see him play and combine with Pedri, who I thought was incredible today. Again, just really exciting. 8.5 for Pedri. I'm you guys know I'm a little fangirl for Pedri, so yeah, I don't have much to say. He linked up incredibly well, created stuff, and no assists, no goals for him, but could have easily had some, and really well done. Lamine Yamal too. I think Lamine dribbled through some guys like no one else in this team can, and created and was exciting. No goals and assists, so I'm going to give him a 7.5, but I think he did his job when he needed to. Wasn't poor at any points that I can think of, and doesn't deserve any worse than that. So I'm going to give him an 8, actually. I think an 8 is probably fair. Rafinha, though, I think he's got 2 assists, ran in behind several times, and Lamine and Rafinha were just off. There was just one offsides, I think, on Lamine that could have been another goal. But good, solid link up between the two of them. Rafinha continues to impress as the captain of this side, and actually gave the armband to Frankie when Frankie came on, which was interesting because we didn't see it in the last match, and I like to see that. I think it's like respectful because Frankie is technically a level up in captaincy, whatever, even though we like seeing Rafinha with the band because his energy is just unparalleled even when compared to Frankie. So yeah, good job from Rafinha today. I think another 8.5, potentially a 9 there. Good performance. And they're just doing the same thing they've been doing. If you guys didn't watch this game, they link up really well. There's a lot of exciting attacks and energy and creativity, even with Lewandowski and Rafinha, these guys that we've criticized before for their inability to link up or their inability to have a good final ball. It changed today and in the rest of the season. So great job from them. And then Ferran Torres went out. There's no way to rate him. I can't do it. And then we'll get into the subs real quick and start with Koundé and Ansu Fati, who came on in the 67th minute for Hector Fort and Lamine Yamal, respectively. I think Koundé was pretty solid today. I think he did his job pressing. He did his job defensively and is a great player. And I'm so happy that we have him. I also like the fact that Hector Fort started today. I really liked seeing him, and I think he is a good deputy. I think he's better than Gerard Martin probably is on the left, but he played on the right today, and he did well. So I think it just like a 7 is fair for Koundé because I think he was good, but he wasn't incredible because he didn't need to be incredible. Ansu Fati, though, I'm going to give him a 7.5 because he didn't score, he didn't assist, he had a couple pretty good shots on goal, hit the post once, and was exciting to watch. He gave the ball away one time, which was very dangerous, but things like that kind of tend to happen. He also plays a pretty withdrawn role for this side. It's interesting to see, and I'd like to get into the tactical analysis of it a little bit later if we continue to see it from him. But we see him right next to Frankie de Jong at points later in that match, and I would never have guessed that to happen, especially when he's deeper than Pedri is. So it's an interesting dynamic that they have him playing in, and I don't think we see it from Rafinha. I don't think I remember seeing it from Ferran Torres. I could be mistaken though. So it's interesting to see, but there was a lot of creativity there, a pretty good link-ups with him and the rest of the guys, and so he had shots on goal today that really nearly went in if it weren't for some pretty solid saves from the Alavés goalkeeper. So all around, good job from Ansu today. And Gerard Martin, the fridge, came in, and so did Frankie. Martin was fine. Yeah, I not a ton to go off of from him. Got a yellow card. Frankie de Jong, though, I think he was okay. Again, not a ton to go off of. Only came on in the 81st minute, and I think there was only like 3 minutes of added time. So didn't play a lot of football, which is okay. He's getting into the build up of all of it and figuring it all out again. These guys are going to come out more. We're going to see more from Frankie and Ansu and potentially Dani Olmo and Gavi as well when the team comes back at the end of the international break, which is good. Good first start to the season. Again, points on the board. No struggling really for Barcelona to win this game at any point. They conceded a lot of chances. They were all offside or there was a foul in the build-up. Were they fortunate to get some of those calls? Maybe. Are Madrid fans going to call for Negreira refereeing? Probably. But whatever. It's nonsense. And it's just whatever. Good win from the boys. I'm excited to see them continually doing this over and over again with subs being made, with changes happening right in the beginning where you have to fumble around to call an audible and change something in the last minute. When they're still able to take Ferran Torres off and play that well in the first 30 minutes, it's something I wouldn't have expected from this team last season. I think they needed everything to work out well over the past couple of years to play good football, but when there was a single injury or a red card or something came up, everything fell apart. Today it didn't, and it's exciting to see that they can still figure it all out. And good, let them rest for the next 2 weeks and come back better than ever. We have huge games coming up, and we should be excited about it. But take this break. But yeah, that was this game. It was exciting to watch. If you didn't watch the highlights, definitely go check them out. It's a good watch today, and I recommend it. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.